coming here this year. Last year I couldn't make it. And
I ran.
thought to myself, the Atlanta Open's happening. Cam Todd's got to be coming through Augusta to go to Atlanta, right? So I thought it'd be nice to have what I consider the greatest putter in the world ever. A guy who I kind of mimic my style after. People think I'm one of the best putters. But he's the guy that taught me. So I thought we'd bring him out and have him show you guys how to get it done. Everybody, this is Cam Todd.
Yeah. Woo!
He's a 2001 world champion, and he did that with putting. I was there. I wasn't even good enough to make the finals. I was watching from a distance, and he just got up to every putt from 40 and in, and didn't even take a second and made it right in the heart. People in the carts, 70, people in the that were watching the crowd didn't even know what was going on. They never seen anything like it. It was like he was possessed by the putting spirits or something. It was quite an amazing feat, and I think we'll start by Cam showing you his grip, and then we'll get going.
Well, actually, first, the most important thing to putting you'll ever learn is driving them right there. You'll never miss, ever, I promise. No, but other than that, there are a few fundamentals that I do stick to, and of course that's stance and that's grip. And your stance, you know, everybody's got a different posture, everybody's got a bigger upper, smaller bottom, you know, different sizes. You want to find something that's comfortable that you can have an athletic position. So number two, after you get that athletic position, there's a big rule that I follow. I want both knees to come down and then come up on one. If you kind of get stuck and you try to come down and putt from the waist, you have no ability and no motion, you know, you don't have that athletic control that you need. So you want to go down on both knees and then come up to one. I don't care if you're standing here, you can come up on both, but you got to go down on both knees when you got to take a putt. That's what I follow anyway.
So let me show them real quick. One way to find that stance, it's very difficult for some people. Cam, it was natural, he just lined it up. One way I've shown people to find the stance is just stand facing. Like he said, you have to be able to bend both knees, right? So you bend both knees, and then you just jump as high as you can and turn. You'll land with both knees bent, all right? Then you'll know you're in an athletic position. This is the position you defend yourself from, okay? Then you just turn and face the bucket. Your knees should be bent. That's the easiest way to find it because everybody lands differently and has a different athletic position. But the key, like he said, is to make sure you have both knees bent, and that's one way to find it.
Next, the grip. The grip to me is very natural. Pretty much got a hand, you set it in, and you let the hand naturally close. You don't want to put a lot of pressure on the disc. You don't want to grip it inside the rim to where everything's catching and binding. You just want something natural, because all you're doing is try to pop it and toss it to someone. Toss it to the basket. And about the stance, that's where all your energy comes from. You're not trying to do with all this thing with the arm, it's the body. The body does it, and then the disc just comes out. Just jump with the body, and it takes inertia, takes right over, and it comes right out.
Alright, with the grip though, one thing that, you know, naturally put your hand on there. Can I see one? So we both have the exact same grip. It's kind of funny, I don't know. Maybe I learned it from him. But they all have this like kind of bead right here, and my kids know this, but that bead right there is meant to fit in that digit right there. So it's flush. That's why when the great putters putt, there's no wobble a lot of the times. That's because the release point comes off of there. See that? If you have your finger out on the rim, then your release point is different. There's a different amount of contact on the rim to the disc, and some days it's different, more or less, and some days it wobbles and some days it doesn't. So the way Cam showed you is making sure it's on that digit, matches the bead flush, so when it comes off it's clean. Alright? Any questions about grip before he moves on? No questions? Feel free, don't be shy.
So basically, I want to get my stance, which is more of a front angle toward the basket. I kind of do a shuffle of my feet just to get my athletic position grooving, and then I want to bounce down and pop. And that's basically all I want to do is bounce down and pop.
Same spot.
What kind of arm motion?
Very little. Yeah, I want it to all come. I want the inertia to come from the body, and I just want to push forward with the pop.
Do you use more arm motion from, let's say, 50 to 70 feet? Or
Of course.
More of a leg bounce?
Of course. I mean, yeah, the farther out you're going to go, the farther the arm has to extend to get it there, but still you want it all working from the body. You want everything to work from the body.
Now, one thing that Cam does that's a little different, I just could never get, and maybe you can, is the difference is I call mine a push putt, because I'm not able to, what he calls a pop putt, right?
Right.
And so, the only difference is that Cam's gonna keep his arm long, and he's gonna bring it up a little bit and pop it. And I took that idea and said I can move my shoulder forward, but I don't know how he gets the inertia without an arm swing. So I just made the arm longer. I do just like Cam, get out in front of me. When I push my shoulder forward, I just lift my arm up. And I find that to be an easy way to learn it. Push the shoulder forward, push it, and then let your arm carry you through. You don't need to throw it, all right? Now I'd like for Cam to show you really in a detail what the pop is about, how he gets the generation.
Pop's like having a pterodactyl arm. You know, they're like here and they're connected to their body, and you just, it's all from the body. You know, if I'm making a long stroke, I can release from here to everywhere. But if my arm stays situated with my body and I just pop up, then the inertia is going to take over. And basically, when I set up and I get my vision, I should be able to close my eyes and just make a little pop. And I should be able to make them.
Now check this out. For those of you that have seen lots of videos and you're wondering how he does that. So what you do see is keep the arm straight like Ken Climo, right? Keep the arm straight, Avery Jenkins, everybody, right? Well, he's doing the same thing. We just don't want you to move the elbow, right? Because that causes all the variation difference. So all he's doing is locking his elbow in and not moving his elbow at all. He's just moving the shoulder and hand.
Less moving components is always better.
So if you find that easier, that's one way to get the same action. You don't want it to be a left or right movement. You don't want any elbow movement.
And of course, the farther out you get, you're going to have to start adding something. It's almost impossible to get that much energy or inertia from the disc. So my arm is going to come out a little bit the farther back I get.
You don't switch styles when you get further away?
No, I just a little more on the arm, like I say.
Okay.
You know, but I don't switch. I jump putt.
So, what do you aim at?
What do I aim at?
What do you aim at?
The pole. I always aim at the pole. It's the most solid thing you're going to be able to hit, and if you hit the pole, you got more chances of staying in than any. I think if you aim at a link, which some people like to, you're going to be, every time you rotate around the basket, it's going to be a different spot, and you're going to be trying to aim at different spots, and I get accustomed to that pole. That pole's always going to be dead center. It's always my friend.
We had a question over here, Barry Schultz.
I got a question. When you change your distance, say you're putting a 50-footer versus a 50-footer, do you change the pressure of your grip?
In the beginning or upon release? Okay. Yeah, in the beginning I hold it the same, but I may just squeeze it a little bit harder at impact upon release. So
Cleaner transfer of energy.
right.
To answer that question more, if you notice, I'll kind of do what Climo does. Ready? He kind of does this. If he's where Cam was, he stays right here, he's blade kind of up, right? If he's back where Cam is, he goes like that, right? He gets forward. But if he's up here, it's always the same motion, just lessened. So if you watch him, when he's here, all he does is no leg lift and just the arm, right? Because he doesn't need to lift the leg. It's just right there. So what you do is you have a shorter amount of the motion with the same technique throughout the whole thing, but you add more of it. As you get further out, your arm goes further, your leg comes up higher. The more you commit, when you get further out of the circle, then you're able to commit all the way up and fall forward. Okay? Any questions about that? All right.
I got a question.
There we go.
What's the longest putt you ever made?
Longest putt I ever made or Cam? Go ahead, Cam.
Wow, it's hard to say.
How about your longest putt that meant something?
Ace.
I know where it was.
Where? Michigan?
Yep.
What was it? 100?
He made about a 90-footer at least, down a hill, with bushes in his way, water behind it, to push $2,000 from the skid.
That's a putt from 90?
And to take second in the tournament.
shot.
My longest putt was very similar, I'd say, at Santa Cruz Masters Cup. One year I made the finals as a rookie pro, kinda, and I threw this shot that was maybe here and the basket was over there. And there was a wall of trees right here, and I just went like that, and the wind took it, and I couldn't even see it finish. I just saw it plateauing across the wood line, and then the crowd just erupted as it went in. But I don't really know how it went in. I didn't aim at anything. The face just took it. So.
Another question.
Yes, sir.
When you're just outside the circle, let's say you're 10 meters away, are you jumping every time, or is there a certain point where you feel more comfortable?
Well, it all depends on the putt at that point. If it's an uphill putt, I'm probably going to jump closer to the circle. I'm pretty comfortable at 40 feet, which also, there's no controversy with my group most of the time if you let it get out a little bit. But if I do feel like I need to putt on the 10-meter line, I'm asking my group if they're okay with it. Do we need to walk it off, or what do we need to do?
So I'm saying, if you know that you're outside, let's say you're just at 10 meters and you're just outside jumping range, are you going to jump every time because that's what you feel like is most consistent, or?
Depending on the elevation, the wind, everything else.
I think mostly elevation and wind, and mostly wind.
Well, let's say hypothetically